This story is called Where is Herbie? It was a bright Saturday morning in Puddleton, and Quack Quack had been busy in her front garden. She'd mowed the lawn and tidied the flower beds and watered the plants. Unusually, although she'd looked over her fence expecting to see Herbie, there was no sign of him. Bert and Ernie were in their garden playing on their swing, and Quack Quack waved to them. They grinned and waved back. Percy the postman came past and stopped outside Quack Quack's gate to hand her some letters. "Have you seen Herbie this morning?" Quack Quack asked Percy. "No, sorry, I haven't," he replied. "I'd normally see him in the village shop or walking down the lane, but not this morning." "Well, that's odd," Quack Quack said. "Usually I always see Herbie in the morning to say hello to, and he's not come out of his house at all. I hope he's okay." Percy scratched his head and said, "Well, it is a bit strange, I agree. I'll tell you what, I've got some letters for Herbie, so I'll knock on the door as well to see if he's there." Percy left Quack Quack and went next door to post Herbie's letters, and knocked loudly on the door. He looked over to Quack Quack, who was leaning over the fence, and shrugged his shoulders. "Sorry, Quack Quack, there's no answer. Perhaps Herbie went out early this morning," he suggested. "Yes, maybe you're right," replied Quack Quack. But she was a bit worried. It wasn't like Herbie. She went into her cottage to prepare herself some lunch when there was a knock at the door. "That's probably Herbie," she thought, and raced to open the door. But it was Matilda who was standing outside. "Matilda, how are you?" asked Quack Quack. "Not too bad, thank you," said Matilda. "I've called round to you to see if you've been to Herbie's house, because there doesn't seem to be any reply, and he didn't come and collect his newspaper this morning from me, which is very unusual. Do you know where he is?" Quack Quack looked worriedly at Matilda. "Oh, Matilda, I've been thinking where he can be, as I didn't see him all morning when I was in the garden, and Percy the postman's knocked on his door as well and got no reply." There was a silence as they both looked at each other, wondering where Herbie could possibly be. "I'm sure he's just gone out for the day somewhere," said Matilda, as she could see Quack Quack look concerned. But the truth was, Matilda was worried as well. "Let's go and ask Bert and Ernie," suggested Quack Quack. "They've been playing in their garden all morning, and they may have seen Herbie." Matilda and Quack Quack walked across the lane and called to Bert and Ernie, who scampered over. "Hello, Quack Quack and Matilda," they both chattered. "Hello, you two," said Matilda. "Have you seen Herbie this morning? No one in the village seems to know where he is, and he doesn't seem to be at home." "No," chorused the twins. "We've been out in our garden playing all morning, but we haven't seen Herbie." "We normally always see him as well, because he waves to us when he goes to get his newspaper from your shop, Matilda." "Yes, I know," said Matilda. "That's why I'm worried, as he didn't come in today." "Oh," said Quack Quack, "I'm really starting to think something's wrong." And she was near to crying. "I think we'll have to try and get into Herbie's house in case he's not well. I do have a key to use for emergencies." They all agreed with the idea and walked over to Herbie's house, whilst Quack Quack rushed to her cottage to collect the spare key, and they met outside Herbie's front door. Quack Quack unlocked the front door and walked in with the others right behind her. "Herbie," she called out, "are you home? Are you okay?" But the house remained silent. "Herbie?" Quack Quack called again, but a bit louder, but there was no reply. Matilda and the twins went upstairs calling his name, while Quack Quack searched downstairs. They all met in the kitchen looking very glum, as there was no sign of Herbie at all. "I'm really worried now," said Quack Quack. "Where can he be?" Just then they heard a noise out in the garden, and peered out of the kitchen window to see what it was. But they couldn't see anything. "It must have been a cat," said Matilda, who was also now really quite upset as well. "We'd better go back to my cottage and think what to do next." And they all turned to leave. "Listen!" chorused Bert and Ernie, and they all turned round again. A very faint sound could be heard from the garden, and all four of them strained to listen. "It's probably the cat again," said Quack Quack to the twins. No, it's not, the twins said. Listen! And they leant right up to the window, and then the sound could be heard again. Help! A faint voice sounded. That's Herbie, screamed Quack Quack, and flung open the kitchen door to the back garden. The shed, Bert and Ernie chanted, jumping up and down with excitement. Quack Quack got to the shed first and could hear Herbie more clearly. Help! He cried out. Herbie, are you okay? Shouted Quack Quack. Yes, I'm okay, but the shed door blew shut on me this morning when I came out to get my spade, and it's jammed. I can't get out. I've been in here for hours, but no one's heard me calling. Don't worry, we're here now and we'll get the door open, called Matilda. With Bert and Ernie's help, Quack Quack and Matilda pushed and pulled until finally the shed door flew open, and a very relieved Herbie Bear looked at them, sitting on a crate in the middle of the shed. Oh, thank goodness you found me. I thought I'd never get out of here, he said. Oh, Herbie, I'm so pleased you're all right, said Quack Quack with a big sigh of relief. You must be thirsty and hungry after being in there so long. Well, I am a bit peckish, Herbie admitted. So since you've rescued me, you must all come into my house and I'll get us some juice and a piece of cake. They all trooped back into Herbie's house and sat around the table, talking about how worried they'd been. Thank goodness you did come and look for me. I would still be in there now, said Herbie. Well, that's what good neighbours are for, smiled Quack Quack. And with that, they all tucked into a delicious piece of lemon cake and some fresh orange juice.